Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am here with my second video. Today we are going to do a short video on how to do brows. Now I do already have one brow done and then I have the other brow kind of prepped. So without further ado, we'll just kind of get right into it. I hope everybody is doing well. Staying safe out here and, you know, being as best as they can be. I'm just going to go ahead and pin my bangs back. Just as an update, working from home, not getting any better, but it's okay. Where I should be getting back to the office pretty soon here, which will be really nice to just kind of get out of the office. I definitely kind of wanted to do this video today to really just kind of get my mind off of a lot of things. I know that there, you know, obviously has been a lot of things going on here in really the entire world. And, you know, we're just kind of trying to get through it together. And this is my piece and this is the way that I like to soothe myself. So I encourage everyone to really just kind of do something that you enjoy, just to make yourself happy. You know, you always want to make sure that you take care of yourself, especially in times like these. You know, depression is definitely a huge thing. So we definitely just want to make sure that we take care of ourselves during these times, especially, but all the time, really. So I've went ahead and pinned back my bangs. So as you can see, I do have my left hand brow done. And this is kind of like my very, this is kind of the type of brow that I do when I'm looking for like a very intense makeup look, or, you know, I'm doing something that's just kind of not like my everyday look. So I did use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow pomade for this. And I do have it in the color Ebony. I also did use, I honestly do not know what number brush this is, but it is from Anastasia Beverly Hills as well. And this is their brow brush. I bought it in the same section as the brow pomade, so I believe that they're kind of like paired to go with each other. And then I'm also going to be using again the Precisely My Brow Pencil by Benefit. So I think kind of one of the really great things to start off with when you know, you're just a beginner, you're trying to learn how to do your brows, is mark where the beginning of your brow is, the arch of your brow is, and where the end of your brow is. Now, because I'm extra, I put, you know, a sparkle in there. But you can just go ahead and look in a mirror, just kind of examine your brows. You need to know your brows inside and out so that you can really create a shape that's going to be best for your face. So I have marked the beginning of my brow, the arch of my brow, and then the end of my brow. Now this is going to help when you're going in to actually outline and trace your brow before you start filling in. That's going to help you, especially if you're someone, maybe you don't have a steady hand, and you don't have to use a sparkle. Some people, you know, can mark it, you know, with maybe a pencil or anything like that, you know, something that can just be easily wiped away once you're done, or covered up with concealer once you're done. Either way, doesn't matter. And you can even, when you mark it, you can even bring the line all the way down to your brow hairs. That way that you can literally just follow the lines. And then once you've done that, then, you know, you'll have kind of a pretty easy pathway into your brow. Now, like I said before, I think really the best way to a brow is always starting off with a good base. So making sure, you know, if your brows are, you know, a little bit out of control, maybe just lightly tweeze them beforehand, or just something to kind of give them a really nice shape, or at least some type of a shape that you can follow yourself. So what I'm going to start off by doing is I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills brush and I'm going to dip into the pomade. Now I always like to dip the brush on both sides, and I really just kind of run it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I really run it along the side so that I'm not getting a ton of product on the brush, because the brush is a very, very skinny brush, so it makes hair-like strokes. So you don't want to put too much product on there, because then the strokes will not be as thin. So I take that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace the outlines of my brow. And I start towards the middle of the brow. And then I'm going around my arch. And then bringing that down to the end. Now please take your time with this. I know it definitely is going to be a little bit harder if you're working with something that's not on your dominant hand. And also, you know, just take the little strokes. You don't want to take too big of strokes and then you mess up. But, you know, even if you do mess up, just know that you can always clean it up. So nothing to be worried about. So I dip back in it again. I'm going to take the brush again, and now I'm going to go over the bottom of my brow. Now, if you want to make the marks on the bottom of your brow as well, please feel free to do that, because that could even make an easier thing for you. So you can, you know, mark here at the bottom of your brow, here again at the arch, and then again at the end of your brow. Now I'm going to take this again. I'm going to start kind of towards the middle center of my brow. And then I'm going to bring it around up on my arch and then down. And then here is where I've connected the 2 points on my brow at the end of my brow. Now I'm going to take it and then just make one little stroke like so to end it. Now once I've done that, I'm going to dip back into the pomade just one time, and then I'm going to take that product and I'm going to start making strokes on my eyebrow. And you always want to go in the direction that your hair is going, because that's going to make for the most natural look. Now, as you get towards the top of your brow or the front of your brow, the center, you're going to see that you start running out of the eye pomade product. That's good. We want that to happen. Now, we filled in the back portion of our brow. Now, I think that I'm going to go in a little bit more because it's not as dark as my other brow. So, just go in. If it's not the desired darkness that you want, you can go back in and start refilling it in again, if that is something that you don't, or if it's looking uneven. Okay, so I think that's good for me. Then next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Precisely My Brow pencil to then go ahead and start getting the hair-like strokes towards the center of my brow. Now, again, with this, you're going to want to make sure that you're holding the pencil very lightly, because you don't want to dig in too deep towards the center of your brow, because then it's not going to kind of give that ombre effect. If that's something that you're looking for, then you'll definitely want to be cautious of that. So you'll go in. Now, you'll start a little bit further back than where I started with the pomade so that we can kind of blend the two together. So I'm starting from here, and I'm just going to do very light upward strokes. Now again, like I said, you're going to want to go in the direction of your hairs. So if your hairs do not go upwards, do not take it upwards. Mine specifically go upwards towards the center of my brow. So that's just kind of how I do it. But if yours goes horizontally, you know, which I don't think, but you know, go ahead and go in that same direction. Taking that back a little bit further. All right, and there we have it, brow on the right hand side. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to just clean it up with some concealer. Now, this is up to your preference. If you feel like your brows are perfectly fine and you don't need to clean with concealer, then don't do that. But for me, I think my right brow got a little bit thicker than what my left one did, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up, and then I'm also going to clean up on the bottom so that if I have any, you know, straggling hairs, that'll be covered up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my concealer, and I am taking the Born This Way concealer in the cover Chestnut. I'm going to take a little baby concealer brush that I have. And this is it's actually a flat eyeliner brush by EcoTools, but this works perfectly for my eyebrow concealer. It's a very short synthetic brush, and it gets the job done. So I'm going to take a little bit of the concealer on my hand. You really don't need a whole lot, like just a little dab, not too much. And then I'm going to dip into the concealer. Now, some people use different colored concealers for the top and the bottom of their brows when they're concealing that. I do not personally, but you always have the option to do that if you want to. Now I'm going to start at the bottom of my brow on the left-hand side. And then I'm literally just tracing right underneath my brow. Now once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and take that and bring it down. And then I'm going to leave that, and then I will clean up with a sponge after. So again, I'm going to dip in, take this, go right underneath the brow, trace right underneath the brow. Adding the concealer as well also gives a really nice highlight underneath the eye too. So that's a benefit to it as well if you are choosing to conceal. Okay, so now we got that one done, and now I'm going to go in the top of my right hand brow, just because I think it's a little bit thicker than my left hand side brow. So dip right back into that. Now with this one, you have to be very careful, because if you mess up, that could really kind of mess up the shape of your brow. Okay, so this is what I mean, guys. Now, we're not perfect over here. So do you see how I went in with the concealer over here, and now this brow is more rounded than this one? I don't know if you can tell, but on this brow here, on my arch, it's a little bit more pointed. And that's kind of the look that I like to go for. But when I went over here with the concealer, I rounded out my arch a little bit too much. So I'm thinking that I'm just gonna round this one out because it'll be a little bit easier. So I'm gonna dip into my concealer again, just gonna take a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and just kind of round this arch over here on my left brow. It's always trial and error, you guys. Brows are really difficult to do, I think, at least in my opinion, because I feel like we really strive for perfection, and we're trying to get sister brows. We want them to be twin sisters, not, you know, cousins, second cousins, one, you know. So we want this to be as together as possible. So I just dipped in and I'm trying to round out this arch a little bit more now, which I think I got. All right. I think we have rounded it out, guys. Okay. So like I said, it's literally all trial and error. If you do not get it right the first time, it's perfectly okay. That is why we practice. Oh crap, y'all. Did I just mess it up? No, it's okay. I can fix that. So now I went a little bit too deep into it, so I'm just gonna fix this up with I did get cut off while I was doing my concealer, but after I did that, then I went ahead and took my small sponge brush from EcoTools to go ahead and clean up the concealer around my eyebrows. And then after that, I went and took my MAC Prep and Prime translucent powder, same way that I did in my last video, because I let you know that I do have oily eyebrows. So I went ahead and took that translucent powder, put a little bit on my brows, and then finished it up with an eyebrow gel. If you do have a little bit more of unruly hairs on your eyebrows, you'll definitely want to go ahead and make that a staple in your makeup collection. The one that I have is just the Anastasia Beverly Hills clear brow gel, and that works pretty good for me. So here is a close-up of how my brows look. You can really kind of see there what I've done. They're kind of sister brows. We're into it. But I'll go ahead and take these off. But oh gosh. Oh, you guys, these freaking bangs. I literally hate it when I take my bangs. When I take my bangs and there's just like the longer pieces get inside of your bangs. That's really a pet peeve of mine. Like, it'd be having me wanting to just really, you know, cut it off. But but thank thank you so much for watching my tutorial today. I will be having another video next Thursday. Thursday is going to be my release dates from now on, so you will see a new video from me every Thursday each week. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you again so much for watching, and I love you all.